So nobody leave. Just a sec. Okay, this meeting is now resumed. Councillor Morley.
Madam Speaker, I have a quick release on behalf of Councillor Chang. Her motion's ready. I believe clerks have it. And I also have a request to deal with the PH.
Okay, hold on. Do your release first, please.
No problem. Thank you.
Okay. That's CC 40.7110 Shepherd.
Yes.
So we'll put the motion on the screen. Okay, there it is. By Councillor Morley on behalf of Councillor Chang. On the amendment, all in favor, carried. Item is amended, all in favor, carried. Okay, Councillor Morley.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I'm hoping we can deal with item PH 29.3. I have a motion on that item, and I have to go to a commitment very shortly.
Well, the thing is, I think this is the one that we have TTC here, isn't it?
And staff from planning as well.
Councillor Perks?
But I need them for the other one. I don't need TTC for this. I need them for the members' motion.
Is everybody okay then just to move up PH 29.3?
Sure.
Madam Speaker, if I may.
Yes?
It's Councillor Bradford. I'm happy to just quick release IE 28.8, which is the community sports equipment. Somebody else can take the hold if they wanted to not be quick.
Apparently Councillor Bravo and Councillor Fletcher says they still want to hold it.
That's fine. They can hold it.
Okay. All right. Well, I just want to remind members of council, we just have quorum here, and Councillor Morley's going to leave. Once she leaves, we don't have quorum. They've all left.
Yeah. So I'm happy to have that out of my hands and over to Councillor Fletcher.
I'm not their keeper. Yeah. So to amend the order paper for PH 29.3. Okay, Councillor Morley, please be quick because
Thanks,
we're
Madam
losing
Speaker. I'm
quorum
happy
here.
to go quickly as I can. I have some questions of staff on this item, if I may.
Okay, hold on. We have to get the right staff to come down. TTC was at the table.
Apologies and thank you.
Well, I'm not their keeper. Oh. I know where they are, but you can't stop them. Yeah? Maybe we should start deducting their salary, then they won't leave. It's a good idea. We should move a motion on that.
All in favor? Thanks,
Okay,
Madam Speaker.
hold on. Can you please put your name on the screen?
My system's being slow. Apologies.
Okay, Councillor Morley, ask your question.
Thank you. To staff, the success of the transit-oriented communities program is dependent on partnerships with private developers. What is the risk assessment that the City or Infrastructure Ontario undertakes before entering into such partnerships?
Through the Speaker, the City does not undertake a risk assessment because these are brought to us. The TOC proposals and development ideas are brought to us by the province. In your ward in particular, there have been two, the Mimico TOC and the Park Lawn TOC that have run, not materialized in the ways that were planned.
I'm going to get there. Thank you. I'll throw my next question at you. What happens when the developer is unable to fulfill their commitments as part of these agreements?
So, sorry, I preempted your question. In the case of Mimico, we had a developer that was partnering with Metrolinx on that TOC that then went into receivership. And so then the TOC just dissolved. There was no follow-up TOC with the subsequent owners of those properties. In the case of Park Lawn, the development partner for both with Metrolinx has stepped back for a period because they're saying that the development and the Park Lawn Station aren't viable.
So in the event that a TOC is canceled, are there any resources made available to the impacted communities to implement the lost infrastructure and benefits that were originally promised or negotiated?
Through the speaker, there is no provincial compensation or support for those sorts of things. Where private developments then come in, there may be some aspects of the TOC benefits that we could still achieve, but not likely to the same extent.
So thank you for that. And you did allude to some of the circumstances in my ward of Etobicoke Lakeshore. There have been 2 failed agreements between Metrolinx and private developers to deliver housing, additional parking, a refurbished GO station with long overdue accessibility upgrades, and other community benefits, both at the Mimico GO station since 2013, as well as you mentioned, we're currently navigating challenges related to the Park Lawn GO station, where significant development and density was approved and built without the necessary infrastructure. Has the city received any updates as to a future TOC at Mimico GO?
Through the speaker, we are not aware of a follow-on TOC with any of the new landowners there.
The last question I have for staff here is related to a submission from Housing Now TO. They highlight that there's over 18,000 units of housing expected to come to TOCs within the city's jurisdiction. About 215 of those units are subscribed to any kind of affordable housing program. According to the mandate from the federal government and the original TOC framework, 20 to 30% of housing on government-owned lands within TOCs are meant to be affordable units. Can you confirm if that's approximately accurate in terms of those numbers, and why the discrepancy between the mandate and the original proposal for 20 to 30% affordable?
So through the speaker, we have been pushing in our interactions with the provincial government to achieve 20% affordable housing at their TOCs. The federal targets would not apply because there is no federal money in these TOCs. This is a provincial program with them developing the lands that they have acquired for the purposes of the subway projects and in some cases GO parking lots.
So is it fair to say or accurate to say that when these partnerships fail, ultimately communities are left without infrastructure and we're still not clear on a path to delivery, at least in these 2 instances?
Through the speaker, in these 2 instances, some of the infrastructure at Mimico will occur. There are some elements of the project that Metrolinx is taking on, but certainly not all the community benefits that have been agreed. And in the case of Park Lawn, that still remains to be determined, but I think that there are some significant challenges that present themselves to us.
Thank you very much. Those are my questions.
Councillor Myers.
Thank you. Through you, Speaker. So my question is about the parking at Shepherd and McCowan Station. So there was a preliminary analysis done, and I'm just wondering what initial conclusions or findings did staff find on the need for commuter parking at Shepherd and McCowan Station, which I will remind everyone is a terminus stop.
So through the speaker, we did some initial analysis, as you indicate, of Shepherd McCowan Station, and see that because it's a terminus station, there could be some there could be a rationale for some parking. We're also suggesting that through the development of a TOC that we're expecting to come there, there may be an opportunity to include some commuter parking as part of that development.
Thank you. And with the approval of the Scarborough East Rapid Transit Line, which we have just done, which would also connect to Shepherd and McCowan, do you think that need for commuter parking is even greater in this area?
Through the speaker, potentially. I can't be definitive about that, Councillor. I think that
it will have an impact.
It could have an impact, yes.
Or have staff done the analysis yet to determine what percentage of commuters might potentially be coming into the area via vehicle, because this is going to serve people in York Region as well as Durham as well as North Scarborough, where there's very limited rapid transit?
So through the speaker, we have not done that kind of analysis to this point. I'm not sure yet what Metrolinx may have been anticipating. Certainly there will be a lot of buses from both York and TTC buses coming into that station and providing connections, and then the future SRT line.
So the staff report also says that it's not only the public that can or the government that can provide sort of parking, that private entities could also provide commuter parking. Could you just sort of describe how that would work in a scenario like this?
Our expectation for the TOC that we're likely to see from Infrastructure Ontario would be some kind of mixed-use development. It will be a private developer that they contract with or that they work out a development arrangement with. And there may be in a business case for them, depending on the nature of the mixed-use development, if it's office or commercial retail, for them to have parking that may also be expanded to include the commuter parking for the TTC station.
So just to clarify, commuter parking could be potentially provided by the city, could be provided by the province, or could be provided by a private partner.
Through the speaker, when I'm talking about the TOC, it would be through the private partner,
Okay.
Because they would be entering a development deal with the province for that site.
But for the site itself, the city, there's nothing prohibiting the city from establishing a commuter parking lot through TPA, for example.
If we have land available and TPA sees that there could be a business case for the provision of parking, then that might be considered.
Thank you. And then I guess the final question is, when will staff have a final report or final analysis done on the business case for commuter parking at Shepherd and McCowan Station?
Through the speaker, we're looking at next year. There are a number of different parking motions that we are responding to, including some that are now on the table from you and Councillor Cheng that we're going to need to address. So into 2027.
Q1, Q2, do you have a?
Q2.
Q2? Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay, Councillor Perks, you held the item down.
Fine.
You'd like to speak?
I may speak at the end, but
At the end?
yeah.
Okay. Deputy Mayor Malik, she here?
Yep, I'm online. I have a
Okay,
motion.
go ahead, go ahead. To speak.
The motion that I have is just a request from staff to clarify the motion.
Pardon?
The motion is just a request from staff to clarify intent.
Oh, okay, so we have the motion on the screen.
Yeah,
The
that's
Deputy
it.
Mayor. Okay. Thank you. Councillor Morley.
Speaker, I also have a motion. Clerks can help me put that up. It reads that City Council direct the City Manager in consultation with the Director, Transportation Planning, to request an update from Infrastructure Ontario and Metrolinx on the status of Mimico Go Station, any plans for a future TOC at that location, and an outline of the risk assessment practices undertaken before entering into a TOC. As I mentioned, or as I alluded to in my line of questioning to staff, residents have been left with a station first built in 1967 that includes limited customer access and insufficient parking, along with a large neighboring hole in the ground where a housing development should have been. We not only had one developer go into receivership, we actually had two developers start and stop over the last decade, and our community has been waiting all along for the necessary and promised improvements, including accessibility upgrades to a very well-used station at Mimico Go. While communities with successful TOC benefits from public-private partnerships, the potential loss for communities when they are unsuccessful, which we have repeatedly seen, is very significant. Future TOCs need to emerge only after a rigorous risk assessment to ensure that communities aren't left with unfulfilled promises and partners are able to deliver on the complete communities that were planned and agreed to. This continues to be a sore point in my community, and Mimico Go is just scratching the surface. We're continuing to engage very actively with the proponents at Parklawn Go as well, and are really hoping to find a path forward and some momentum on the really important infrastructure and higher order transit that's been promised to be delivered in this community. We've heard from colleagues about, and we've chatted and debated at length, the Waterfront East LRT and the incredibly large and robust community that's going to be coming to that area and needs to be well served by transit. In Etobicoke Lakeshore and the Humber Bay Shores community, the community has already arrived. We have significant density and significant development that has all been predicated on a complete community served by higher order transit that does not yet exist. The province itself has included Parklawn, for example, within their PMTSAs and future transit-oriented communities without any station in place and no clear path forward. So it's really incumbent that we work collaboratively, and with thanks to our colleagues who I know are continually engaged in those conversations with Metrolinx and others, but we need to have better processes in place, better systems in place, so that communities are not left for decades without the promised infrastructure and ability to navigate at in a high quality community that serves their needs. So with thanks to my colleagues, and hope that you will support this motion, that's all for me. Thanks, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. Councillor Perks, now do you want to speak or not? You'd like to speak? Okay, go ahead.
Yeah. Very quickly, members, you should support both of the motions that are in front of you. I just want to take a moment. There seems to be a theme today about the province of Ontario coming and stomping on the city of Toronto without any idea what they're doing. All of us go to community consultation meetings. We have secondary plan consultations. We work with our communities to try to build the best future. And the province of Ontario passes a law, talks to nobody, holds no meetings, and then just wrecks parts of the city. And that is literally what's happening with these transit-oriented communities. Frankly, you know, the very name is just a branding exercise. It should just be, you know, things the province has screwed up. That's what we should call them. Unfortunately, we can't do that. So please do support the motions and continue to tell your communities that if they're unsatisfied with the services that they have and the land use planning that they're getting, that the one person who is responsible for it is Premier Doug Ford.
Okay, if we can put the motions on the screen. Motion 1, Deputy Mayor Malik, on favor, carried. Motion number 2 by Councillor Morley, on favor, opposed if any, carried. Item is amended, on favor, carried. Thank you. Our next item is IE 28.1, the Congestion Management Plan. If we have questions to staff, please put your name on the screen. And I also want to say that there is a supplementary report on IE 28.8 with the confidential attachment. And I also want to say that there will be no new members' motions this evening. We're done for the day. Okay. On the congestion plan, Councillor Holliday, you have your name up, correct? Okay, go ahead.
I did want to ask, there's a recommendation in the plan that the city would not charge application fees, and I think they would discount the Rodar's road fees. What does that mean in practical sense? Those are the fees that developers pay to occupy lanes, right?
Through the speaker, so what's proposed is any of the projects that are deemed as affordable housing, depending on the percentage of affordable housing, what's proposed is that they would receive a discount with respect to the Rodar's fees, really direct correlation. So if it's a 20% affordable housing, then 20% reduction in terms of the Rodar's fees that would be charged.
Why do we have Rodar's fees?
The Rodar's fees are basically to recover the cost for traffic management as a result of a particular road closure on the street.
Do they create an incentive to be economical in closing lanes? Do we care?
Through the speaker, so the intent is really to recover our costs associated with traffic management first and foremost. Although, yeah, admittedly, there is a side benefit of people sort of tightening up the window of their road occupation time.
Did staff recommend discounting them?
Through the speaker, the intent was to basically align ourselves with city priorities and goals in terms of supporting affordable housing initiatives within the city, and hence the nature of the recommendation.
Well, does that make congestion better or worse?
Through the speaker, again, you know, anytime there's any particular road closure on the street, we're always trying to figure out what's the best way to sort of mitigate the impacts of congestion around closures, whether it's signal timing or support through traffic agents. So we put forward efforts to try and mitigate the impacts, but the intent of this was to basically try to encourage more affordable housing within the city.
Did anybody look at doing a fee rebate based on whether or not the project was delivered on time?
Through the speaker, no, we had not looked at that.
Would it be possible to do that? Could you look at it, I guess, as a reward? If they got their project done on time, then they could achieve a discount on the fees? I mean, that would help with congestion, wouldn't it? What I'm getting at is, with the reduction of fees, is it not logical that there's a reduction in pressure to deliver the projects on time?
To the speaker, one of the things about the discount is we're not stopping all of the measures that we put in place when we are deploying resources such as traffic agents or signal timing or the like associated with a construction project. So the services and the supports that are put in place by the city in order to keep the congestion manageable around a construction project are still going ahead. It's simply the fee in this case that's being discounted in proportion to the amount of affordable housing.
So the RODAR's fees are meant to recoup the costs. In other words, there's not a net pressure on the city. So does this mean that there's a net pressure on the city?
Through the speaker, so to be clear, just to draw a little bit of a distinction, because there's also still the permit fee that applies,
Okay.
and this is independent of the permit fee. So the sort of lane rental occupancy fee is still applied. This is really with respect to the traffic mitigation costs associated with development sites and trying to recover those costs. So those fees still apply, but then independent of that, with the RODARS program, we've been basically trying to recover some of our traffic management costs as well.
Are the RODAR's fees one time, or are they temporal, based on time?
It's a combination of both. So there's an administration fee up front, and then there's a daily charge depending on the road classification, because it all ties back to how much we actually have to invest in terms of managing traffic around road closure.
So back to my question, though, RODAR's fees, I think you said, was intended to recoup costs from the city. So then are we under a net pressure if we offer discounts on the fees?
So through the speaker, I suppose the simple answer, Councillor, is yes.
Okay.
That net pressure, because of the way that this fee has been targeted in terms of the discount has been targeted, we anticipate that that would be fairly small each year. So I think the report anticipates about $750,000 a year would be the impact on the transportation services fee revenue.
Okay, $750,000 per year. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I need quorum in the council chambers. Please, members of council, please come back to your seats. Let's do a quorum call. We have bare quorum. We can't leave the council chambers. Councillor Fletcher?
Speaker, you have 15 members in the chamber and online.
Okay, we just have 15. All right, go back to the questions. Councillor Crisanti.
Thank you, Speaker. I'm just looking at measurable outcomes when it comes to congestion in the city. Maybe in terms of the number of hours spent in rush hour traffic today versus number of years back. Do we have some numbers on that? And are we moving the needle on this?
To the Speaker, yes, the city uses the travel time index as one of its measures to assess the level of congestion in the city. Just in the past year, through the travel time index, which measures congestion relative to free-flowing traffic, we did see a 12% reduction between 2024 and 25 in the peak construction season in the downtown in terms of improvement in our traffic flow.
Okay, so thank you for that. But a stat that I have, and I just want to know if I've got the correct information. In 2023, Speaker, I think we have a meeting going on here. Speaker? And we have another meeting going on with the Speaker. Can we get some? Speaker, could you hold my time?
Okay, hello, Councillor Perruzza, Pasternak. Enough at the party. Go, please. Somebody's trying to ask questions and you're yapping there. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, thank you. So in 2023, according to the Board of Trade, there were 98 hours stuck in traffic. Now, if I got the correct information, fast forward to 2025, we have the same amount of time, 98 hours stuck in rush hour traffic. Can you just clarify that for me? Do I have the correct information, or is this the case?
To the Speaker, I'm not familiar with those Board of Trade figures, so I can't speak to them.
Okay. That's what I have, and I was just concerned that maybe we're not moving the needle quickly enough, and if that's the case. And so in terms of the initiatives that we've implemented, you indicated that we saved over the last year 12% less time in rush hour only, or is this all the time?
To the Speaker, the 12% figure was a measure of congestion relative to free flow traffic in the downtown, in the construction season peak.
Okay.
So it was, it's a measure not specific to rush hour, it's specific to the months of time when we have construction season at its highest.
Just during that season?
For that figure, yes.
For that figure. All right, thank you, Speaker.
Thank you. Deputy Mayor Malik, questions? And if we can try to get through this agenda because I'm losing members of council. Deputy Mayor Malik, go ahead, questions.
Thank you very much. In the report, it was very encouraging to see that there was a reduction in travel times by 12% in the downtown and also a reduction citywide. As you're well aware, the Waterfront East Transit has been committed to by all levels of government. They've joined the city, and that work will be moving forward. And I wanted to understand a little bit more about how this Waterfront East Transit coming online will enhance our work on congestion management, and on if there are specific lessons from the opening of other lines that we will be applying to managing congestion with this as we anticipate this new transit.
To the Speaker, one of the important things that needs to happen in order to manage congestion in the city, we're looking at all modes of travel in order for people to be able to move in and about the city. We have a growing city. We have pressures on our transportation network, and investments in transit and active transportation provide an opportunity to open up ways for people to move about the city in an alternative to single vehicle travel, which will help move those people throughout the city, as well as create more space on our roads for everybody. So new transit lines such as Waterfront East will play a big role in contributing to helping everybody move around the city. In terms of your question about lessons learned, certainly through the experience of working on transit over the past years, we see it can be a very challenging environment in the short term for people to be able to get around. And we're taking lessons from that in terms of how we coordinate our construction activities, how we work with our partners, and work actively to mitigate the impacts of congestion when we're doing construction.
Okay, so to that point, one of our key pillars when it comes to congestion management is shifting how people travel, making sure they have more and better options. So can you share specifically how you're tracking this and what evidence we have so far about how well we're doing on inviting people to shift their travel patterns?
Thank you for the question. Through the speaker, we're working with the city. One of the things we've highlighted in terms of our efforts is recognizing that people shift those travel patterns if transit is more reliable and quicker. And so a lot of the effort has been put on initially on lines 5 and 6 of introducing new transit signal priority at intersections, increasing the speed of transit on those lines. From the lessons we've learned there, we've already started to apply those same interventions to downtown streetcar lines, especially in advance of the World Cup and in wards like yours. And so with that, we've seen, and with transit priority in other areas like on Bathurst and Dufferin, we've seen shifts in ridership already on Bathurst and Dufferin, and there's a continuing increase in ridership on lines 5 and 6, and that follows with those in terms of those prioritization and those investments. And so if transit is faster, more reliable, we're seeing the shift.
That's helpful. And how specifically is that being tracked? Because what was shared with us, it wasn't apparent how that pillar of the congestion management plan is being monitored and tracked.
Through the speaker, so there's a couple of different KPIs that we're looking at in terms of how the measures we're implementing are basically benefiting transit. With the system itself, they have the ability of detecting where the trains are and the speed of the trains and how long it is in terms of run time through the area. We also have the ability to measure the dwell time, how much time does it spend. This is for surface street transit locations, to see that as well too. But as we speak, it is something that is within development to come up with a new toolkit of KPIs that we'll be putting forward through dashboard and obviously in subsequent versions of the report.
Okay, thank you.
Councillor Fletcher is not speaking, right? No. Okay. Councillor Myers to speak.
Thank you, Speaker. I am just introducing the amendments on behalf of our colleague, Councillor Chang. I believe she worked on them with Roger Brown at the Transportation Department. And she's pre-circulated the motion. Thank you. That's it for me.
What happened? You finished?
Yeah, I'm just introducing the motion.
Great. Yeah. Okay. Sorry. Councillor Matlow.
Yes. I have a motion.
Okay.
And this motion is identical to the one that I moved at the TTC. At the TTC, it was about the TTC working with Transportation Services. Here at Council, it's asking Transportation Services to work with the TTC. And together as a team, I'm asking them to work together to ensure that we don't have ongoing issues at terminus stations with transit vehicles that are unable to easily get in and out of those stations.
Okay.
Like Dundas West. There's a number.
Councillor Holiday?
Yeah, thank you. Just briefly, Speaker, I'd like to request a vote on 2A separately. That has to do with the fee concessions that are being granted. I think that stands on its own, and then 4 and 5 separately. You can do all three of them at once, because those have to do with the transit signal priorities. I just want to go back to the questions. Thanks for the chance to ask them. I know sometimes I see conflicting things in these recommendations, and they puzzle me. So here you have a good initiative to charge RODAR's fees. That helps pay for mitigation measures to deal with road closures. And then we turn around and all of a sudden discount them. And I understand the point that the staff were trying to make in the questions and answers, that this is to now subsidized housing. But somebody has to pay for all that. And so I just don't see the logical follow through that if we're dealing with congestion and these fees help incentivize people to be economical with their use of city streets because there's a recurring fee for every time they occupy the road, I don't know why we would discount them, other than it's just a way to move money around between city accounts. So I can't support that. We should recover the cost. Thanks.
Thank you. So, Councillor Holiday has asked for separate votes. We have those? Okay, Councillor Fletcher's not here. Councillor Bravo, can you move the supplementary report?
I move the supplementary report.
Okay, Councillor Bravo will move it on behalf of Councillor Fletcher.
Correct.
Okay. So motion by Councillor Bravo. It's on the screen. On favor, show of hands, carried. Okay, we'll vote on the other motions. Motion 1 by Councillor Myers. On favor, carried. Motion by Councillor Matlow. Recorded.
Councillor Fletcher, are you able to vote? Councillor Perruzza, are you able to vote, please?
I'm voting yes, and I can't get in.
Councillor Perruzza, how do you vote, please? Councillor Fletcher, how do you vote, please? And Councillor Candeval, how do you vote?
Affirmative.
The motion carries. The vote is 16-1.
Councillor Holiday, what were the ones that you wanted separately? 2A, if I remember, and which other ones?
You can take them as a package, but it's the items on the transit signal priority, so that would be 4 and 5.
4 and 5. So
Thank you.
2A and 4 and 5 separate.
Correct.
Okay, so let's put 2A up on the screen. Oh, all three of them at the same time? Okay, so we do 2A and 4 and 5 as a package and recorded vote.
Yes, from Chow.
Mayor in the affirmative. Councillor Perruzza, how do you vote?
In favor?
Councillor Canadell in favor. Councillor Fletcher, how do you vote? How do you vote, Councillor Fletcher? Thank you. Parts 2A, 4, and 5 of the item as amended carry. The vote is 15-2.
Okay, balance of the item on favor, carried. So our next item is IE 28.3, approach to public electric vehicle charging. Do we have questions on that? Do we have any questions on that item? Councillor Fletcher, did you want to speak on this?
For such a great job and
Okay.
put some chargers in where there's permit parking. Thank you very much.
So Councillor Fletcher is moving IE 28.3 on favor, carried. Our next item is the community sports equipment sponsorship. So if we can bring staff down here if there's questions.
I don't have a question. Do you have a question, Stephen? Or are you speaking? Mike, you have a motion. But it's not your turn. Put your name on.
Okay, if anybody has questions, can they please put their name on the screen? We're at community sports equipment sponsorship. Nobody? All right, so let's go to speakers then. Councillor Fletcher.
We had quite a debate in this at the committee. I have a motion which illuminates the one-year pilot a bit more. And there it is there. We have a confidential attachment. We've got sponsorship, usage, impact, operational considerations. Based on the original plan, it was going to be in 40 downtown parks at 50 locations. After the meeting that we had at Infrastructure and the Environment, it was increased to every ward has a location, and that's 25 locations, and then Jumpstart Equip will cluster the other 25 where they would like to have them. So that's the motion that's in front of everybody today. We'll see how that works. I know there's a lot of upset because people in other areas than downtown feel that they should have had access to these locations right away. You didn't have access to these locations right away. It came from your committee to get you that access. That's what you're voting on here. And then Councillor Chang has a motion to look at getting the report back on how that's going and how to distribute these locations more evenly throughout the entire city. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Holliday to speak.
Thank you, Speaker. I just really want to say thank you for the people that were involved in making this happen. Last council debate wasn't so appreciative, but I am. And I know some councillors had misgivings and didn't really want to see it go ahead. And my response is if they don't want it in parks in their community, I'd be happy to take those units and put them into a Etobicoke Center. I am just going to make a suggestion, which I hope is constructive. I'm not going to move a motion. The units are little boxes, and you can see from the pictures that they fit, you know, like a soccer ball or a football or whatever. I hope they look at the program for a couple of other sports. I'm really thrilled and proud to tell people that there's a 12-court pickleball complex opening in Etobicoke Centennial Park. And like, what a great place to be able to put a couple of rackets and pickleballs for people to try to play. We also have a disc golf course in Etobicoke Centennial Park. And, you know, that's one of those things that you're not likely to go out and buy a disc golf set to just go and try the game for the first time. So here's another chance where you could put something like that, if it was appropriate, into the box and introduce people to disc golf. And finally, again, in Centennial Park, one of the largest parks in the city with a large concentration of people, there's beach volleyball courts. And not everybody has a volleyball, so I thought that was a really neat place that, you know, maybe would make a lot of sense for one of these units. So I just wanted to say thank you and hope that we think creatively about how to use them and maybe expand the horizon on what sports they might apply for, because they produce a way to remove the barrier to entry to try those sports. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Cole.
Yeah, just following up on Councillor Fletcher, Councillor Hawley. This is a program that I think is very worthwhile. Let's get it started. We'll work out some of the kinks. We'll try to spread it across the city. You can't include all sports and all equipment, but it's a great start, and we'll see how we can get feedback from people and make this equipment available.
Councillor Cole, I believe you have a motion.
Put up my motion.
Okay.
Where's Andy when I need him?
I don't.
You know, this font here. Will somebody fix the font? For Pete's sakes, fix the font. There we go. God, you're visually challenged here. Ugh. Yes, City Council directed the City Manager Parks and Recreation to report back following program on options for equitable distribution of community sports, and direct the Recreation to report back on infrastructure. So it's a great start. We're going to report back. We'll fix some of the little quirks, and let's proceed.
Good job. Good job.
So, Councillor Cole, you should do what I do. Get paper. Have it in front of you. Okay. So on the motions, if we put the motions on the screen. Motion by Councillor Fletcher, motion 1. On favor. Opposed, if any, carried. Motion 2 by Councillor Cole. On favor. Carried. Item is amended. Recorded vote.
Councillor Peruzza, your vote, please.
Yes for Chow.
Mayor in the affirmative. Councillor Canavelle, how do you vote, please?
In favor?
Councillor Peruzza, how are you voting, please? In favor. Thank you. The item is amended, is adopted. The vote is 16 to 1.
Okay. Our next item is EY 30.1, 2775 Jane Street zoning bylaw amendment. We can have staff come forward on this one. It's here without a recommendation. We'll open it up for questions. Questions to staff. Can you please put your name on the list? Questions to staff. Councillor Pruzza, you have a question? You don't? Okay, you held the item down. Okay, does anybody have any questions to staff? No? Okay, we'll go to speakers then. Councillor Pruzza. Councillor Pruzza, go ahead.
Yes, Speaker. So Speaker, this is a development that's in my ward in the Jane Finch neighborhood on Jane Street, and Speaker, I don't know, when you get bad development, I understand that everybody today has talked about the province and all of the changes that the provincial government made and how they've limited our ability to actually do city building and city planning and build and plan for complete communities and so on, and how we are just now really mostly, you know, we basically review development applications and then send them on because we're really no longer a city building authority. But I believe that as a city council, we need to take a stand on this. When you see bad development, so Jane and Finch, so the planners have been looking at Jane and Finch for forever. And what went wrong in this neighborhood from a planning perspective that has caused us, so much difficulty, and what have we been trying to correct? And one of those things is the notion of a complete community, access to services, all right? And I think that most planners would look at this and say, you know what, yeah, you need complete communities. You need access to services. Otherwise, there's a void, and then when you create that void, it creates conflicts and gives rise to social tension and social unrest. So then along comes, a landowner, and I guess under the new rules all over the place, says, well, you know what, I'm going to just infill, and the podium, basically towers over the building next door, their building, and then even a bigger tower on there. And how does that then, how does that represent good planning? It's not good planning. And at some point, we have to make a stand. I understand, oh, well, you know what, Councillor, if we don't do this, then it's just going to go to the Ontario Land Tribunal and it's going to get stamped and it's going to get done. But then if we don't like it and we recognize it's bad planning and we are complicit in it, then aren't we, adding to that? So at what point do we stand back and say, I understand our staff. I understand, they've got a report, and I understand, the duress and the rules under which they are, required to operate. I get all of that. But then, so why is it here in front of us? Well, I'll tell you why it's here in front of us. Because we also get to have a say. We should have a say. We're going to have a say, all right? And I say no. I say no, don't approve it. Exactly that. Don't approve it. Say no. We can and we should say no.
Oh, please.
Well, I'll tell you what it does. It sends a very clear message that says this, that the city council recognizes when we have a poorly planned development in front of us that leads to poor planning across the city, that leads to more and more problems across the city, problems that will take millions and millions and millions of dollars to correct if you can ever fix them going forward, and we shouldn't be complicit in that. We should just simply say, no, we're not going to do that. And yeah, we may not win on this one, and we may not win on the next one, but we will eventually win. Okay? Well, you know what?
Councillor Cole, please.
I'll tell you when.
Okay.
When you guys were the government. You are actually moving to
Councillor
make the LMB
Perruzza,
far more
Councillor
respectful of local
Perruzza, your
neighborhoods.
time's up.
We need to get back.
Councillor Cole, why are you interrupting? What? Oh. Councillor Perks. Go ahead,
Yes,
Councillor Perks.
Speaker, the item is here without recommendations, so I'm going to move the original staff recommendations that were presented at East York Community Council, or Etobicoke.
Etobicoke.
It's late. Councillor Perruzza makes a very passionate and exciting set of comments, but we all know that it's more than just handing over authority to the OLT. Since our staff have made recommendations on this, if there's a hearing, they can't go represent the city. So we would have to hire outside planners. And there's the chance of a de novo hearing, and. Everything Councillor Perruzza said is correct, except one, which is we actually have to take a position here. So I'm just moving the staff recommendations. Thanks.
Okay, so on the motion by Councillor Perks, moving the staff, recorded vote. This is a staff recommendation, recorded vote. Councillor Cole, please.
Councillor Matlow, please.
Councillor Perruzza, please, your vote. Councillor Candavel, please.
Negative.
The motion carries. The vote is 9-6.
All right, our next item is T 3154, Lakeshore Boulevard East. Councillor Fletcher, it's here without a recommendation.
Microphone. Thank you so much, Speaker. I'm just going to apologize to the staff because I've been unable to get this quick released to say it's all going back to Toronto and East York Community Council. That's it, because it's not really supposed to be here, including the large improperly installed sign on Lakeshore. Thank you.
Okay, so you're referring it back to Community Council.
That's correct.
Okay, motion's on the screen by Councillor Fletcher. All in favor? Carried. Next item is CC 40.1, payment of legal expenses by the Integrity Commissioner. Do we have questions to staff? Councillor Fletcher? Councillor Morris, you're declaring?
I don't know where I put it now, but I do have to declare an interest on this item.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you. Item CC 40.1, payment of legal expenses related to IC. I have a financial interest in this matter, so I'll have to step out.
Okay, thank you. Okay, questions to staff. Councillor Fletcher.
I don't have any. Councillor Holiday has them all.
Well, your name was up there,
It was
Councillor
up to,
Fletcher. Oh, no, it's up to staff. It's okay. We'll correct it. Councillor Holiday.
I thank you to the city clerk or deputy city clerk. In the report, it refers to some policies. Thank you. Thank you, Councillor Fletcher. Could you start my time again? So the report talks about a couple of policies. Can you tell me what year the first policy was created?
The two policies in question is the Code of Conduct Complaint Protocol, which was adopted in 2008, although it was replaced in 2019, and then the Members of Council Operation Policy, which has a long history, but the current form was recently readopted in 2023.
So do I understand the total expense bill is $28,105.93?
That's correct.
How much has been paid by the city thus far? Or is it reimbursed, I guess, is the correct term? Or is it paid directly?
$5,000, which includes HST, was paid to the law firm.
And that's because the clerk followed the policy?
That's correct.
And can you explain why there's two numbers? I think there was another one that said $20,000 in the policy. What's the difference?
In the protocol, it contemplates two limits, one being $5,000, the other being $20,000 if the Integrity Commissioner uses his public inquiries power. As part of the process, I consult with the Integrity Commissioner to find out if he's using his powers, and if he says yes, then the limit would be $20,000 that we could do an advance payment. In this instance, he indicated he was not using those powers, and so the ability was limited to $5,000 to pay.
So this policy has always been in place. There's an opportunity to obtain $5,000 in reimbursement, but I guess, do I understand correctly that the councillor would have gone through a process, may have hired a lawyer, and may or may not have known about what the final outcome would be, and thus would not know what they would be eligible for to recover?
When a councillor contacts me with respect to a situation like this, I would explain what would be available to be paid in advance and what might be available subject to what the report ultimately says and what council ultimately does with it.
Okay, but that wouldn't be certain at that time. It's a whole bunch of ifs.
That's correct.
Okay, thank you very much. Those were all my questions.
Pardon? Oh. Are you, Councillor Holiday, are you finished?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Okay, Councillor Pruitt, your name's there now. Go ahead. Go ahead.
So the same question. When did it change? It was always my understanding that when this, when we dealt with this, it's my understanding that it was always $20,000 that if you had to incur legal fees for whatever reason, and there was no, initially there was no, I don't know, you're saying the Integrity Commissioner has to approve a portion of it?
Well, I think what should be clear is that there's a number of legal policies related to indemnification and legal fees.
Mm-hmm.
With respect to Integrity Commissioner investigations, the member of council operations policy sets out that it could be an eligible expense in certain circumstances. We have been using this old code of conduct protocol that council approved in 2008, but that was removed in 2019 as a guide to help work through the situations when an Integrity Commissioner investigation happens. And in that protocol, there was the two limits of 5,000 and 20,000.
Okay, so you're saying there's, let's say it's one pot, but there's two routes you get to it, right? So if, for example, I get into an issue where I have to incur legal expenses, but it's not an integrity commissioner issue, then I have up to $20,000 that I come to you for, that you will cover me without my having to come to council, correct?
I don't think it's that simple to say. Like, it would depend on the circumstances and whether it would fall within the indemnification policy, which is different, and that may still require council to approve depending on the ultimate value of the expenses.
Well, I'll tell you what I'm recalling. I remember Rob Ford when he was mayor, and I think even before that, there were two separate issues where there were some legal things that he went through, and I believe that he had to fund up to $20,000 without having to come to council for. And then there was an integrity commissioner issue, which was very similar to that. So you're saying in 2008 we approved the policy that you now use as a guide, but in 2018 it was updated?
In 2019, the way the Code of Conduct protocol was set up changed. There was legislation that changed the powers of the Integrity Commissioner such that they could set the protocol themselves. And in that, after 2019, they revised the protocol, which didn't include the legal fee payment process anymore.
Okay, so I'm not understanding it again, right? Like I don't know why we can't get to a simple language on here that I understand. So we had this policy that said that if you got into trouble, you could go up to $20,000 and be reimbursed for $20,000 without having to come to council. You could hire a lawyer and so on. And you're saying that in 2018 or 2019, there was a change, and then the Integrity Commissioner changed the compensation formula for us?
Through the speaker, no. The member of council of operations policy listed as eligible expenses legal fees related to Integrity Commissioner investigations.
Okay, let me ask you a question. Who has the power to either change or not change that particular protocol? Do we have the ability to say today, you know what, make it 20,000 if you have to incur legal fees, you know, whether it's an Integrity Commissioner investigation or an Integrity Commissioner issue or a legal issue, it's 20,000, make it 20,000. Who has the power to do that? Because I remember us very clearly
Perhaps I can assist. The Integrity Commissioner is responsible for their own process, so the protocol is within the jurisdiction of the Integrity Commissioner. Reimbursement for legal fees is within the jurisdiction of council. That's a decision for
so
council
we have the
to make.
ability to say, make it $20,000 if without it having to come to council, or up to the upper limit, upset limit of 20,000. We have the ability to do that. So I remember we did that. When did it change? I don't remember ever changing it.
Okay, that was your last question. Okay. Councillor Fletcher? Councillor Fletcher, question.
I'm sorry, I now need to understand this. The Integrity Commissioner, City Council has the right to set a limit and say any expenditures up to 20,000 on legal fees would be covered. That is the right of council. Question?
Yes.
Yes or no?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Automatic coverage.
If that was council's direction, yes.
What is council's current policy?
So council, in the member of council operations policy, it doesn't describe a limit with respect to the legal fees from a code of conduct investigation.
Any legal fees. I'm talking about any legal fees. What's the upset number?
In the indemnification policy, it's 25,000.
25,000 for legal fee coverage without coming to council to beg for coverage. Is that correct or not? 25. Hold my time, Speaker. You're not even in the chair. Can you just hold that because they're searching for that policy, Speaker?
That
Anthony,
the indemnification policy
help me.
talks about legal expenses other than the integrity commissioner that would fall under the indemnification policy can be approved is a maximum of 25,000 upon the
Could you
approval
speak a
of
little closer
council.
to that microphone, please,
My
Mr.
apologies.
Patchell?
The indemnification policy talks about a $25,000 limit that council can approve, executive and council can approve. That's the policy, would be a report to council for that.
Sorry, unclear again. You have to report to council to get the legal fees. Yes or no? Wait a second.
There are different policies related to different legal fees.
Yeah, I'm just talking about legal fees in general.
I know, but legal fees under the indemnification policy, which speaks to if a member is charged with an offense, for example, under the criminal code, they can seek legal fees.
Correct.
From council to a maximum of 25,000 unless council approves something further.
But what's the automatic coverage?
Up to 25.
In the integrity commissioner.
Not integrity commissioner. What's the automatic coverage for legal fee without coming here? Is there one?
No.
No. You always have to come here to have a legal fee covered.
Yes.
So there's no indemnification automatically. So for $10,000, no, he said no. No, he said no. 25 and below, no matter what it is, you have to come here. Let's be really clear. He is, Mr. Patchuluk is telling us that. You have to come here. I'm waiting for the legal counsel.
But he's interpreting it differently now than they did in the past.
Whether it's the integrity commissioner or justice of the...
All right.
Wait a second. It's all my time's getting eaten up. Oh, you've got it.
No, I reset your time.
They're looking at it.
Councillor Fletcher, I reset your
Thank
time
you.
from before,
I'm
so you
waiting.
actually got an extra minute.
Well, I think it's a
Yeah.
problem because I'm now waiting for answers, Speaker.
Okay, all right. I got your time. I got your.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
So, Madam Speaker, perhaps I can help clarify a couple of things. The city has an insurance policy that covers claims against councillors for acts that are deemed to be within the performance of their duties. So that's one type of reimbursement of legal fees.
Up to how much?
I don't think there's a maximum
Okay,
there, but
no maximum.
CFO can probably help me out there.
Okay.
And then secondly, there's also an indemnification policy that dictates situations where councillors will be reimbursed for legal fees for certain things. For example, a regulatory charge where they're found not to have violated the rules.
And
Those
that's
sorts
a
of things.
policy that is set up by council.
By
That's
council.
our
and,
policy.
And I will say, because that's not what's before you, I'm
I
hesitant
understand
to
that.
answer
I'm asking if
specific
that
questions.
council policy is made up by council, which can be changed.
Yes,
Correct.
it is. Yes,
Number
it
one.
is.
Number two, the integrity commissioner has his own policy that was changed in 2019 that said we can't come to council and get coverage. Did I hear that correctly? Yes. That's what you told us.
I will let Mr. Patchlock answer
No,
that. That's not quite right.
To clarity, that protocol said there was two thresholds. One was you can get an advance payment up to $5,000 or $20,000 if the integrity commissioner used his powers. So that could be
Yes, if the
paid in
integrity
advance
commissioner says
without
yes.
coming to council.
If the integrity commissioner says yes, then that gets done. If the integrity commissioner says no, then you come to council, correct? That's why this is here.
So to be clear, an advance payment when the integrity commissioner doesn't use his powers is $5,000. Anything further would require council approval, subject to how they dealt with the report.
I see, but council policy can override the Integrity Commissioner policy should we wish.
Yes.
Correct?
Yes.
But why haven't we said that? That this is a policy. Council can say that everything is covered. The Integrity Commissioner can say, don't pay it. We don't want that. You shouldn't do that. But council still has its indemnification policy, which can also include that. Should,
Madam Speaker,
correct or not?
perhaps I can assist with this. There is another section, and it's in the members of council operations policy.
Who wrote it?
It's a council adopted policy.
We adopted it, so
Yes, it's a council adopted policy, and it lists legal fees which are eligible expenses. It includes legal fees related to code of conduct investigations if the Integrity Commissioner finds that a member has inadvertently violated the code or violated the code in good faith, or if the Integrity Commissioner has found the member violating the code and City Council received the Integrity Commissioner's report for information.
And that is automatic or coming to council, up to a certain amount. Like, obviously, Councillor Mattis
It does not include an amount. What it does is indicate that it's council policy that in some instances that some of those fees can be paid. But it doesn't include an amount, which is why this matter is before you today.
Well, if it doesn't include an amount, that just seems you've told me there's no maximum. So if it's not an amount, either we need to amend it for a maximum, or it should be simply payable by you.
My understanding is that staff have been guided in the city clerk's office, and rightly so, by the decision in 2008 by council to adopt certain maximums. So staff require authorization to pay,
There is a maximum.
to reimburse for legal fees.
So what is the
And they're
maximum?
coming here to seek
Councillor Fletcher, that was your last
I
question.
want to know the maximum.
Okay, but that was your last question because I set your time twice.
Thank
Okay,
you.
last question.
I just want to know what the maximum is without coming here.
$5,000.
That's what council said.
Okay, Councillor Fletcher, you're
Yes,
done.
that is correct.
Councillor Crisanti, questions. Councillor Crisanti, questions. Please show respect to the staff. Okay, Councillor Crisanti.
Speaker, I just need some clarity around, we'll try not to ask the same questions here, but just around the portion of the report that speaks to the comments and on legal fees related to code of conduct. Then it says that if the Integrity Commissioner has found the member violating the code and City Council received, does this indicate that the member did violate the code? What's the status of that? Can you explain what this statement means?
The statement means that if in an Integrity Commissioner report, they find the member in violation of the code, but council chooses to receive the report for information, then that would mean the policy could apply and they could request reimbursement.
Okay, but in the Integrity Commissioner's report, I believe he was found to violate the code of conduct, correct?
That's one condition if he finds the member in violation and council decides to receive the report for information. If council decided to adopt the findings of the Integrity Commissioner and the person that have been found in violation, we would not, it would be an exception to the policy to seek reimbursement.
Clear as mud, I'm not sure.
Well, it wouldn't be it would not be an automatic that those legal fees could be reimbursed. Council could choose to waive the policy and pay it anyways.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, come on, quiet now. Councillor Fletcher, Councillor Peruzza, please. Councillor Bravo, questions. Councillor Bravo.
Yeah, thank you. Through you, Speaker, I'm going to be asking questions of both, so please allow me to do that. The amount that would not require to come to council is $5,000, correct?
In this situation, it was $5,000.
Yeah, that was reimbursed. And it would have been $20,000 if the Integrity Commissioner had used his public inquiry powers, correct?
Correct.
Did the Integrity Commissioner use his public inquiry powers?
No.
And those public inquiry powers include calling testimony, subpoena, holding hearings, correct?
Yes.
So because the Integrity Commissioner did not use his public inquiry powers, we are here, and we must approve the excess above 5,000.
You must decide whether you wish to approve the excess above 5,000.
And the finding of the Integrity Commissioner was that while there was a violation of the Code of Conduct, there was mitigating circumstances, and therefore he did not recommend a reprimand. But it still was a finding of a violation of the Code of Conduct, correct?
That's correct, but then council received the report for information.
And what did that do in terms of reimbursement?
That opened up the possibility for this report to come forward.
Right. So the reason that this report was properly brought forward is that we voted to receive based on the finding of a violation of Code of Conduct, but extenuating circumstances recommending no reprimand. And that is why we are considering this. But the automatic reimbursement was 5,000, and it would have been 20,000 if there had been use by the Integrity Commissioner of his public inquiry powers, but he did not use them, unlike previous cases in this term, and therefore we have to vote on the amount above 5,000. The delta between 5,000 and 28,000 and some.
Correct.
Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Myers.
Thank you. So just to clarify, what does the current council policy say in this specific situation? Is there a policy?
The members of council operation policy does say that this could be an eligible legal expense.
Is there a limit?
The policy does not say a limit, and we have been using the protocol as a guide, which was originally adopted by council in 2008, to guide us in these decisions of how to handle the situation of Integrity Commissioner investigations.
And what does the protocol say?
The protocol says that the maximum is 5,000 or 20,000 if the Integrity Commissioner uses powers, and then subject to how the Integrity Commissioner concluded his investigation. So if the Integrity Commissioner had concluded that there was no violation, or that the violation was done where the member wasn't blameworthy, then that would be eligible. Or alternatively, when there's a violation, but council chooses to receive the report for information.
Okay. Is there precedent for council compensating above the 5,000 when the integrity commissioner has found that there was a violation?
There is precedent that they've been above the limit back in the 2014 to 2018 term.
Okay, and what did council decide to do?
That was actually a very complicated case in which at some points, it was a continuous case. At some points, council agreed to pay a portion of what was being requested, and then council also, in some cases, agreed or decided not to pay anything.
So there is precedent for council in these situations paying the full amount and or paying just a portion of the requested amount?
Or none.
Or none. So all three options are available. And then regarding the $28,000 in legal fees, has anyone reviewed those to see if those are reasonable legal fees?
Yes, I have. The policy requires that I review the fees for reasonableness. So what I look at are the lawyer's dockets, which are an itemized list of the tasks performed and the amount of time spent on each task. And I also look at the lawyer's hourly rates.
And what was the hourly rate here?
I don't remember off the top of my head, but I did determine it to be reasonable. There was more than one lawyer who worked on the file. There was a senior lawyer who was retained, and then it appears that there was a junior lawyer who did some of the work, which is a cost-saving measure that's common.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you. Councillor Pasternak, questions?
Yes, thank you, Madam Speaker. Through you to staff. If someone under investigation by the Integrity Commissioner immediately says, look, I made a mistake, I was wrong, I'm going to apologize in council, will this settle the matter? Is that a sort of a mitigating issue regarding the retaining of a lawyer does that end the case and therefore legal counsel is no longer required? Or the investigation continues and there's evidence building to bring a report to council?
That would be up to the Integrity Commissioner.
So theoretically, someone under investigation could admit to the allegations, agree to some kind of mitigation in the council chamber. I've seen many apologies over the years, and the retaining of legal counsel would not be necessary at all.
I suppose that's possible. The question is, when do they retain, did they retain the lawyer and pay some amount, or not retain a lawyer at all? It would depend on the circumstances and the facts.
I'm not sure why a lawyer would be needed.
I guess it would depend on when, during the process, the member decides to agree to the allegations and apologize.
So I'm assuming a lawyer is retained when you're disputing the allegations.
It's common practice that a lawyer would be retained shortly after they've been notified of the investigation.
So is that normal course of action where I mean, I've seen many times here where counselors under investigation by the Integrity Commission hired no lawyer at all, worked out a solution, which was normally an apology, and that was the end of it.
It's up to the counselor. They can choose to retain a lawyer at any point in the investigation, or not choose to have one at all.
Is there any warning to the person under investigation that they could be personally liable for the legal fees that they're incurring?
When a counselor reaches out to me with respect to whether legal fees can be reimbursed, I do explain the different circumstances and that it's possible that they may be required to pay.
Do we vet the law firms or the lawyers that are being retained by those under investigation by the Integrity Commissioner, or is it the sole choice of the person under investigation?
It is the choice of the person under investigation, although in keeping with the practice put in place by my predecessor, I will, if asked, suggest names of a few people who I know practice in this area. I do not communicate with the lawyers myself at all, though.
Would you describe it as a unique area of law that you just can't, grab a lawyer off a park bench? You need someone who has a specialty in municipal law or
I would only recommend someone who I thought was familiar with municipal law, because this is a unique framework, yes.
So there's a chance that you could hire someone who would just spin out the dollars and not get you the outcome you want.
I think it's fair to say not every lawyer would be sufficiently familiar with this area to do an adequate job of representing someone who is subject to a complaint.
So last question, and I think it was partially answered in the past. Councillors sit on all kinds of agency boards and commissions. A tragedy occurs at one of our theaters, let's say. A litigation is commenced. Those councillors are protected, aren't they, against lawsuits for industrial accidents, fires, personal injury?
So those are what we refer to as insured claims, and they would be covered by the city's insurance.
And
so
this is not?
Yes.
Okay.
That's correct.
Thank you.
It's both not covered by the insurance, and also it's an area where my staff can't provide the legal advice because it's a personal matter for the councillor.
One other question. Does our employee benefits plan cover any legal fees to protect your employment?
I'm actually not aware of that. There might be someone else who is better able to respond to that question.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, we'll go to speakers. Councillor Holiday.
Oh, you're deferring.
Councillor Holiday to speak.
Thank you, Speaker. I have a motion. It's rather brief. The first line of the motion is that it's the same motion that Councillor Fletcher moved the first time that this matter came before council. So it's to receive the report for information. And then the second part is, I think a lot of us understand that work is needed on the policy. I thought about this. When council first considered the matter, we received the report for information. That means that council didn't take a position. One of the results of that is that council, if you recognize that there is a story before the incident and after the incident, there is ongoing back and forth between the resident and the councillor. By not taking a position, council did not put itself in the middle of that. I'm suggesting that we do the same thing here, is once again this matter is now back before us. Council is now back in the middle of this matter, and I'm suggesting that we receive the report the same way that we did the first time and not take a position on it. And you can agree or disagree, but I think that the policy needs to be reviewed. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Fletcher.
Thank you, Speaker. I'm just going to move to defer this to the following.
Oh, Councillor Crescenti has a question to Councillor Holiday.
He did, so why did you call me?
Well, because he just put his name on.
No, it was.
Yeah,
He was having problems.
So, Councillor, yeah, I'm just trying to, I believe I understand what this is. Can you explain this, simply what it means for staff's request? So this essentially is not approving the funds. So can you just explain that?
Number one deletes the recommendation number one that's in front of us, which is to approve the reimbursement of $20,807.61.
Okay.
It replaces it with the action of receiving the report. And the third is an ask of the staff to come back and report later on a review of the policy if they think there's changes needed.
And update the policy because it's a 20-year-old policy.
Well, as you can see from the questions today, there was lots of concern over it, but
correct.
That's additional.
Okay, thank you.
Someone else that wants to ask questions, so Councillor Fletcher.
Thank you, Speaker. I'm moving to defer this to the next council meeting.
Okay. We have a deferral motion, so we can speak on the deferral motion for 2 minutes. Anybody want to speak on the deferral? 2 minutes on the deferral. Nobody? Okay. So the deferral motion comes first. Recorded vote.
Councillor Canada, how do you vote, please?
In favor.
Councillor Bradford, how do you vote, please?
I'm voting negative. I'm against the deferral.
Thank you. The motion to defer the item carries. The vote is 11-4.
Thank you, Speaker. I'd like to move a motion to defer consideration of the remaining items until the next meeting. We are just a little bit above quorum. People are fraying around the edges a little bit. I think we need to catch our breath and get back to work at the next meeting.
Motion before us that Councillor Perks is asking that, hold on, that we're asking to defer the remainder of the agenda because we have bare quorum. So did you want to speak on that?
Yes, I do.
Okay, go ahead. Go ahead, speak.
Yeah, I'd like to, Councillor Holiday has given me, has held in my name motion, I believe it's MM 30, whatever it's called, 4030. So I have a minor amendment to just change a couple of words in that, and I'd like to release it. So we can vote on that right now.
We have to deal with Councillor Perks' motion first to defer. I'm sorry, Councillor Perks, I didn't hear you.
I'll withdraw my motion to defer the rest of the business until we deal with this one quick release, and then I'm going to move it.
Does the staff have his amendment to his? Okay, can you put his amendment, please, on the screen for Councillor? And Councillor Prusa, don't talk. Let's just move the amendment.
And this is just an amendment suggested by the mayor.
Okay,
on this
that's
matter.
fine. So just let's just move it, and there's no speeches.
I'm moving it and releasing it.
Okay, so Councillor Peruz is moving that amendment. On favor, opposed if any, carried. Item is amended. On favor, carried. All right, so that we've dealt with that one. Point of order, Councillor Perks.
Yes, I'd like to move to defer the remainder of the business until next meeting.
Okay, motion by Councillor Perks. Move the remainder of the agenda to the next council meeting. On favor, carried. Because we have bare quorum in here and people, it's hard to have councillors. Hold on, we need to do may I have a motion regarding absentees? Okay, somebody move that. Councillor Pasternak. Can you read it? Okay.
Is it Councillor Carroll? The City Council excused the absence of Councillor Shelley Carroll from the April 22nd, 23rd, 2026 meeting of City Council.
All those in favor, opposed if any, carried. Members, before I ask for motion to enact the general bills, may I have a motion regarding the consideration of submissions on zoning bylaw official plan amendments? Councillor Perks, would you like to move that one? Okay, go ahead.
Speaker, I move that committee and council considered submissions in making a decision on zoning bylaw and official plan amendments.
On favor, opposed if any, carried. May I have a motion to introduce the general bills? Councillor Crisanti, would you like to do that one?
Can I see it on the screen? Thank you. That leave be granted to introduce bills 333 to 343 and, you took it off the screen, sorry, and 346 to 410.
Shall leave be granted to introduce these bills? On favor, show of hands, opposed if any, carried. Shall these bills be declared as bylaws and be passed subject to section 226.9 of the City of Toronto Act 2006? On favor, opposed if any, carried. I guess nobody's listening or nobody's voting here. May I have a motion to introduce the confirmatory bills? Councillor Fletcher, you can do that one.
Thank you so much. That leave be granted to introduce bills to confirm to the point of the introduction of this motion the proceedings of City Council Meeting 40 on April 22nd and 23rd, 2006.
Shall leave be granted to introduce these bills? On favor, carried. Shall these bills be declared as bylaws and be passed subject to section 226.9 of the City of Toronto Act 2006? On favor, carried. This meeting is now adjourned. Thank you to staff and thank you to members of council.